Ruby Sightstone.
Yeah, that'll do. But Energy Pacemaker going to start off our bans with a very sort of obvious Xiaohu-aimed Xerath ban, and it is going to be Amazing J's Hecarim being taken off the board here as well, and the Rek'Sai getting the respect here for Huey. Definitely a good choice, but a lot of targeted bans coming through early.
Yeah, they're all target bans, and wow, Raphael gets a LeBlanc ban thrown at him.
That is impressive. But he has been playing it a lot, and I mean, it's always good to make sure that people aren't comfortable, but that is interesting.
Yeah, that's a very specific ban. Maybe they're looking to run some form of protect the AD carry comp on Gamtee's side, and they don't want to have to deal with a mid-assassin.
Yeah, well, it's true. And I mean, I guess this is 5.4 as well, and the patch has changed a lot of what's going to get banned away. You don't need to ban Azir. You don't need to ban Kassadin, because both of these champions not quite as strong as they used to be.
Yeah, it definitely is the case, and we see Letme getting a Maokai ban taken away. So a peculiar pick ban phase so far, and Raphael, the victor goes as well.
Yeah, ooh, and I would love to see this from Huey as well. Pick away Drizzle's Lee Sin. What has made him so comfortable thus far? But that was an incredibly quick Gnar lock-in.
That was, yeah, an insta-lock nearly. It was like he hit hard random and lucked out with Gnar. But that is a pick away from Letme, who we complimented for his Gnar play coming in, but Amazing J looking to pick that one up.
Yeah, Lissandra is available here as well. We've seen Gnar Lissandra being an incredibly strong combination of champions. So see whether that's what they decide to go for, because it's the Annie and the Lee Sin that are being looked at here for Gamtee, and they're more just pickaways more than anything else, and making sure they get Sync Dream on a champion that he's comfortable on.
They are pickaways, but they need to be careful here that they don't give away the huge AoE wombo that we've seen come out of teams with Gnar so often, and looks like they're putting it together. They've got an AoE mid laner, they've got an AoE AD carry. If they pick something up like a Leona here, then there is just the potential for a lot of AoE lockdown and damage to come through from an Energy Pacemaker lineup, which means you can't 5v5. Right now, Gamtee have to be thinking, what can we do to split push to drag this team apart?
Well, it's true, and I mean, having that pick away as well of the Corki, this is something that we probably should have mentioned a little bit earlier in the draft, but that made it to round 3, and I cannot believe that Gamtee let that one go all the way through.
Yeah, so far from Tail, we've seen all Corki games lately and one bad Kog'Maw game. So
yeah,
not expecting him to go back to that Kog'Maw. Ezreal will be the pick away, potentially for the mid lane, deals with the assassins very well, but still waiting on an AD carry to come through for Tail.
It's a really intelligent flex pick, though, this Ezreal, because everyone knows that Xiaohu plays that one in the mid lane, and it means that they can put that Ezreal wherever they feel like. But it is going to be that Thresh and the Jarvan 4 being locked in. Of course, Drizzle's sort of go-to next champion after the Lee Sin is generally the Jarvan.
So the only pick I don't agree with here is the Thresh. They've got a very good team fight comp here. They've got some pick potential that comes out. Maybe that's where Thresh comes in over the Leona pickup. But Leona in the 5v5 composition just balances out the magic damage very nicely, allows Corki a good lane. Leona Corki is just so strong coming into a head-to-head, and looks like it actually might be him mid-Annie.
This would be very interesting. Sync Dream has thrown some curveballs before, but now it looks like it's Xiaohu going to be taking that Annie into the mid lane.
Yeah, certainly, and Annie is very strong on the current patch.
Yeah.
Viable mid laner, has good upfront burst damage, and when you're playing against an Ahri, the important thing is to wait for the first charge, dodge the charm, and be able to blow her up with inside, not being able to go for that second Spirit Rush. And Annie is still one of the champions that can do that.
Yeah, and your Molten Shield is now so much more useful as well. Gives Tibbers that little speed boost and activates on Tibbers as well. And I actually really love that, because everyone knows that if you kill Tibbers, you get 50 gold. Everyone wants to be hitting that bear to be able to get that gold. And now, might just kill someone.
Yeah, exactly right. Get a lot of free damage across from the Molten Shielded Tibbers. I like the way this is going. But in the top lane, Aurelia versus Gnar, we see that a lot. Aurelia does have the winning matchup. Jungle Huey has Lee Sin, Drizzle on Jarvan.
Yeah, and of course, Jarvan a little bit nerfed here in this patch as well. Doesn't get the armor from his standard, but Raphael against Xiaohu, I mean, if Xiaohu gets a Tibbers on an Ahri, she's dead.
Yeah, and you see it is on everyone's jumpers, so we might even see a couple of Tibbers running around the map right now, as it is a Corki-Ezreal matchup in the bottom lane. Corki will win that one out, has the advantage of being able to poke and CS at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And I mean, I guess Tail now just more than happy to be on a champion that can at least potentially build a Trinity Force. So, I mean, that's going to be working out in his favor. I don't know whether he necessarily will because, of course, blue build has been very popular. But what do you think about sort of getting that Manamune and then going straight to the Trinity Force?
Yeah, I think the Trinity Force Ezreal has a very clean power curve. I think that blue build, if you fall behind, can start getting punished a little bit heavier.
Yep.
In saying that, it depends whether they want to play a controlled style of League of Legends or accelerate the pace of the game.
Yeah, and I guess with a Leona and an Annie, you probably just want to be going in, right?
Yeah, definitely. It does look like you want to play a little bit of control. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for the Trinity Force Ezreal. A lot of burst damage that comes through, but it's very, I guess, it just depends how he wants to play the champion.
Yeah, and it's also, you get that sort of double Trinity Force power spike here as well, using that Aurelia and as well the Ezreal. So these dragon fights can be really strong. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for Energy Pacemaker taking on Gamtee. A little bit of a lower tier clash at the moment, but both of these teams really wanting to be able to get into that playoff spot, and both of them have shown they can take games off the top sides, and we'll just see who manages to come out on top. And this is the first time we've seen a mid-Annie so far. I'm excited, Yahoo. Cheers.
Yeah, and if he had been played top, you could have said top 4 times in 2 sentences. As we see actually taking out a ward in the mid lane, and deep wards coming down from Gamtee in the bottom side of the map, reciprocated by Energy Pacemaker on the top side. So maybe looking for that lane swap. Want to make sure you get the Corki versus Ezreal matchup and be able to take it in there. Although Leona adds a different aspect to this lane. Leona, very dangerous level 3 and level 6.
Yeah.
If you can get in there with all your abilities, Ezreal, of course, can do some pretty mean single-target damage still.
Well, it's true, and it looks like it's going to be Energy Pacemaker actually managing to get the lane swap here. And you were talking about the fact that, you know, Corki's probably pretty happy just to poke around in this lane, doesn't get outranged too much. But what do you think the thinking is here from Energy Pacemaker?
So this is one thing about the current patch, is that lane swap is so much cleaner to play.
Okay.
It's just a lot safer to play that in a lane swap scenario. You don't give up anything on your top laner because we're back to playing tanky top lanes. They can survive in the 2v1 situation, and it actually hurts Aurelia probably more than it hurts Nah, and that's why they've elected into it. So it's not in regards, when you see a lane swap now, it's not because of the AD carries. It's more towards what do they want to do over the other areas of the map? What objectives do they want to control?
Okay, well, we'll see what Energy Pacemaker do decide to do with this sort of interesting situation that they picked up. Yahoo with some nice harass there in the mid lane onto Raphael, but he's not going to worry about it too much. And look at that, he's picked up Cleanse here to make sure that he can get out of that stun.
Yeah, really nice move there because, as I said, Annie wants to kill you with the upfront damage. Now the only risk is he needs to be in a position where Tibbers QW just doesn't kill him regardless of whether he's stunned or not, and the lane should be okay. But looking to be extremely mobile, of course, with the Leona as well. Cleanse always going to be a good summoner spell to pick up, and we see double jungling still occurring for Gamtee, but Amazing J, he's been able to stick around in this lane and pick up a lot of experience.
A bit of vertical jungling coming down here as well. I mean, the red buff's still available here for Gamtee. They're looking to dive Amazing J potentially. He could be in trouble. There's the flash into the shield of Daybreak, not even waiting for the E to come through, but Amazing J just a flash and he's out.
Yeah, so able to escape that one. It was a flash for a flash, and in the end, because it is the top laner that's being against the 2v1, probably in favor of Gamtee, just because now Amazing J has to be so much more careful when he does come back. And interesting, I guess, way this game is unfolding. As you mentioned, the top side of the jungle completely left alone for Gamtee. As soon as you saw that attempted dive come through, you probably would have made a beeline for the red buff, but already recalling. Drizzle not able to get over to that area of the map, and Gamtee now looking like they've maybe starting to eke an edge out in this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because, of course, I mean, Amazing J, I mean, I guess he's still fine. He's ranged in this 1v1 matchup here at the moment. Does have a little bit of assistance from Drizzle, but Sync Dream doing the standard roam towards the middle of the map. That he has been pinged out, but just going to get some deep vision down if he can.
So they sent Drizzle into the bottom lane to try and break the siege. You can see right now he uses his smite, uses all of his abilities to push that one out, and exactly the same thing happening in the top lane. Huey coming in, trying to get the lane shoving.
Yeah, Huey actually hasn't even got his red buff yet either.
Yeah, it's still available, and doesn't look like this wave the siege will be gone. Shu can tank it up if he wants to, and he does choose to. That is so key. Wave won't balance out in the middle of the lane, and now Aurelia really doesn't have a way to safely even get experience up here.
She's going to stand in that brush and try and do what she can, but you're exactly right. And being melee in this matchup, it makes it very, very difficult. And we were talking about the fact that Aurelia has a winning matchup against Nah. It's not even going to happen this game.
Yeah, not even going to get to go close to Nah, and they've successfully held the 3 caster creeps still off the turret. So this wave's not going anywhere in a hurry.
Yeah, Amazing J just going to be clearing out the Krugs here as well. You can see it's already represented here in the CS. Only 3 for Let Me, who's so much more reliant on these items as well. This is getting to the point where she's looking at a 20-minute, something like that, Trinity Force, which is just not what you want.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. Might even have to just abandon that route completely, pick up the Phage and grab some tanky items as we see the wave finally pushing back into the Aurelia's favor. However, Drizzle's in the top lane. He might look even to get up there for a bit of a dive.
Yeah, and of course, that would almost be the last nail in the coffin here for Let Me, who's really struggling. You can see in the mid lane, however, Xiaohu doing quite well here for Gamtee.
Xiaohu's doing fantastically, but Jarvan is up there. They've pinged him back, actually showing the Lee Sin. I think they could have baited this a little bit better coming through, but in the end, Aurelia will be able to pick up all that experience, some much needed CS. It's 3-22 in favor of the Nah at the moment, and that's, oh, just misses.
Yeah, almost manages to get there. Xiaohu hits level 6 here before Raphael gets the last Q down and just tries to make sure that he gets as much damage on him as he can, but can't get the insta-kill. Didn't even blow the Ignite here as well. Just wants to make sure he can zone this Ahri off all of this farm, which is done successfully.
Yeah, certainly has been able to do that. Leona now joining in the mid lane as well, looking for another early roam. Is Sync Dream is hurting him in levels, is 3 to level 5 if you compare the support players, but Tail, the beneficiary of that, soaking up all the solo experience.
Yeah, and he's doing very, very well here as well. I mean, Kane, he's had assistance from Shu this entire time, whereas Tail, able to stay up in CS as Sync Dream makes his way back to the lane, but in a 1v1.
Yeah, exactly right, and has been able to, I guess, continue to bully the Nah. Now that he is level 6, Nah needs to be careful of all of the burst damage that comes out of Ezreal. That ultimate is a very devastating... Ooh.
Oh, actually, Let Me getting caught here by Kane. Forced to use that flash immediately. You have to say that was very necessary.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I'm surprised they've stuck with this 2v1 for as long as they have, because Let Me still is being denied, even under turret now. So you can make the argument for the experience, but Aurelia, who is so reliant on getting those mid-game items, has just been completely shut down.
Yeah, and there's another phosphorus bomb. The Ignite's on him as well. Beautiful play. Even uses the Valkyrie, does Kane. And they tank up that turret beautifully. First blood now to Kane.
And because they timed it when the blue handoff was having, there wasn't even the danger of the dragon being started up, as we see a little bit more aggression out of Xiaohu in the mid lane.
Yeah, exchanging some spells here in the mid. The stun is going to come through, meaning that Raphael can't stay aggressive, but lands a nice charm.
Yeah, and Teleport being burnt back into the top lane. Going for the Trinity Force route still, even with how much being punished, and now they'll try and start up the dragon late when they see the top, mid laner going for the blue buff.
Yeah, Drizzle is there, of course, so he's not going to be able to help out with this dragon, but this might mean that they could have a reset of these lanes, but at the moment, is Let Me just too far behind? Amazing J's going to come around. He's got half a rage bar here as well, as there's the death sentence to come through, but they do manage to secure the dragon. So Gamtee, they get the dragon, but is now too late to save their top lane.
Yeah, so their top lane is in a lot of trouble, especially with the electing into the Phage pickup. If they had to go on boots too, if Let Me had to, I guess, sacrifice the early game, gone to deal with the ranged harassers coming through, definitely thought it would still be against the Corki. Didn't think that they would elect to have the lane swap back just because how far they're winning, as Xiaohu caught out.
Yeah, beautiful flay into the Death Sensor as well. Double Tibbers though, and Shu takes a lot of damage. Spirit Rush is here. Xiaohu trying to shield himself with his bear. He does use that Molten Shield. This is a quick bear. Now the flash forward. The last Q not going to be enough, and a 2v1 situation. Xiaohu's on the aggressive.
Yeah, he certainly is. He was using Tibbers to block the next charm that came through. Wasn't able to get that, and also soaked up a couple of critical Foxfires. So fantastic use of the bear there. Still using it as a zoning tool. Syncdream and Shu have a little bit of a scuffle, and now the junglers might even be joining. In the bottom lane, Corki and Ezreal also having a scrap.
Yeah, nice little juke there from Syncdream, but he's in so much trouble. Zhao has come down here. Syncdream flashes out of the way. Orbit Deception, not enough to pick it up, but it is going to be Drizzle that grabs it. Amazing J teleports in. Zhao now in a fair bit of trouble. Doesn't have the stun available. Q, beautiful safeguard and kick to get that Gnar out of there. And he is going to be all right, and that is going to be 1 kill now. But the Gnar onto Huey, what was he doing still there?
Yeah, more importantly, while all that is happening, Letme has just sat in the top lane.
Yeah.
He has to play PvE League of Legends for another 10-15 minutes before he's useful. Doesn't even attempt to rotate around, isn't pushing the wave, has it pushing in his favor, is just sitting there trying to soak up as much experience as possible. And all that did, that trading 1-for-1, although Energy Pacemaker were able to get a kill, it just meant that this Aurelia, who was behind 30 CS, is now probably even after this wave is finished.
Yeah, and Gamtee managed to pick up the dragon here as well, so Energy Pacemaker can't make use of this extra map pressure.
Yeah, definitely. So really good play out of Gamtee, being able to hold their top laner in a disadvantaged situation. Now has a Phage, will be able to continue to CS up here, and they've always got Huey on hand. If anyone looks to dive, Huey has been in the right spot, although now recalling there's 3 members up there.
Yeah, and Transcendent Blades is actually fantastic in a dive situation here as well. Aurelia, surprisingly difficult to kill under a turret, especially with that Equilibrium Strike, but he's going to have to blow that ultimate now a little bit early here as well. Does dodge out of the way of the Descends. There's the flag and drag, gets the knock up as Letme tries to get out. He's juking around beautifully here as Amazing J taking a lot of damage, forced to flash. There's an Equilibrium Strike, and Drizzle, he has to get out of there as well, and this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and the engage in the bottom lane comes through.
Yeah, Kane taking a lot of damage here as well, but just going to rocket the Gamtee members as they make their way out of under that turret, and they know, based on what just happened in the game, tower dives are a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, they certainly do. They require a lot of coordination, and it didn't look like Energy Pacemaker had it to pull it off in the top lane. Huge props to Letme to survive that one. That was probably the play that allowed him to still commit to the Trinity Forces. Raphael in trouble.
Yeah, there's another bear to come through here as well. Huey unable to quite land the Sonic Wave.
Taxes a cannon creep for his trouble and leaves.
That was a red buff that managed to get that one. Oh, tough stuff to handle.
That's what he said to Xiaohu as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, man. Red buff. Nah. No.
Stop it, my creep said. As we see, Tail maybe. No, he has enough for that dash to get out of the way of the death sentence coming through, and top lane completely equalized now, 47 to 54 CS, level 7 to level 7, and Aurelia, in a matchup where we thought she would be completely outclassed after what happened, is in the driver's seat now.
Yeah, and actually still has that wave pushing towards her here as well, and Bear Gold going over to Raphael, definitely handy there as Letme thinking about even going aggressive.
Yeah, certainly trying to dodge out the boomerang, get aggressive where he can, and there it is.
Yeah, there's the Equilibrium Strike coming through. Amazing J does have a fair bit of rage there as a hit and style is beating him down. Turret going to be taken there on the bottom side as the Energy Pacemaker members did need to leave, and Drizzle going to take the red buff, but first sort of map objective here going to Gamtee after that dragon.
Yeah, and I am speechless how Gamtee has managed to pull back after a disastrous early game.
Yeah.
It looked like it was all going wrong for them. They were scrounging objectives that they could, but now they've picked up the first tower of the game, the first dragon of the game, and being able to get their top laner back into the match. They've really done a fantastic effort of pulling together with very little resources through some good communication play, specifically around that mid lane gank, and really is now going to start paying off. Another dive coming into the top, but we've seen time and time again. Now with Flash Up, Letme's just even harder to dive.
Yeah, exactly. And he now has Syncdream and Huey, who are well aware of what might be going on here. And Shu, Drizzle, both going to have to get out.
Yeah, just really nice play coming through.
One thing that I do want to take note of is the fact that I think Xiaohu forgot that you can't build DFG anymore. Because he has the bits for it, or what used to be the Deathfire Grasp, but hasn't actually got there. Of course, probably did just buy the Fiendish Codex and then go back and have enough money for a needlessly large rod afterwards, but it is a nice homage. Oh, Xiaohu actually going to get caught out here as well. There's the charm, the box, the rocket to come through just to make everything okay. that is going to be the lockdown kill here for Raphael.
Yeah, nicely played there. Was able to pick up a kill for himself. That's all the wave clear off the map, and that's something that the Gamtee lineup does struggle with, is wave clear, and you can see because that turret was on no health and was able to be picked up. Most important turret on the map, that mid lane turret, is now down, and they're looking to dive in the bottom lane.
Yeah, actually, Teo just going to get out of there as well. Did use his True Shot Barrage in order just to try and clear out that wave, but you can see there's still a whole bunch of minions down there. Dragon has just respawned. You have to think that that is exactly where our Energy Pacemaker members want to be going, and you can see there, started up, and that is going down so fast, nothing that Gamtee can do. So evened out the Dragons as the Wallop going to come through onto the top of Let Me, but he's going to be all right. Yeah,
but Gamtee don't want to be fighting Dragons at this point in the game. Corki much better mid-game carry than what Ezreal is, especially when Ezreal goes this mana build and needs to charge up that Mirror mana. In the mid lane, Ahri, of course, very good in the mid-game fights as well, and Aurelia only gets better as she scales. Ooh.
Oh, Zenith Blade somehow not going to land here. Shu takes so much damage. There's the Resonating Strike, and Huey picks up the kill, but he's going to die for it immediately. Double teleports to come through now, as well as Tail trying to get some damage out the backside, but Energy Pacemaker do manage to disengage.
Yeah, so 1-for-1 with junglers picking up kills, so not really in either side's favor. Although it is continuing to drag this game out with just trades. You feel that Energy Pacemaker need to start getting ahead. Sure, they have a great team fight in the late game, but the raw damage that's going to come through from the Gamtee lineup, you feel like they just might have some better options with the Aurelia split push, with the ability to be able to just push sideways with Ezreal as well. With through that True Shot barrage, they need to start pulling ahead between the 18 and maybe 25-minute mark, and Gamtee so far have responded well.
And the thing with Gamtee as well is they have the ability to start fights when they want to as well. They have so many initiation tools. They've got, you know, the Flash Tibbers coming through from Xiaohu. They've got Sync Dream with everything that he has to offer. Even Huey can get a decent kick after a safeguard and get someone right in amongst his team.
Yeah, definitely. I think both teams actually don't really have that much problem starting a fight. You think about how far Jarvan can actually travel across the map to be able to tie people up, and with that Cataclysm, it is up fairly often in the late game especially. So both teams really no problem starting the fight. It's just that Gamtee have the tools to be able to disengage a little bit more effectively, and they have a lot of upfront burst damage out of the Ezreal, out of the Annie.
And this does look to be a Trinity Force Ezreal to come through after the Manamune. Solarflare going to find a slow here onto Amazing J, but Sync Dream not going to be able to follow through, of course. Probably wanted the stun in order to deal with that little Nah, but he's able to bounce his way out.
Yeah, so Nah able to escape, and we're seeing quite a reserve early game coming through. Tail now rotating into another lane, trying to grab another turret for himself. So you can see both teams trying to accelerate the pace of the game through some global objective. They're just being mirrored on both sides, so not much really happening.
Yeah, an Energy Pacemaker here in the bottom lane are fast pushing this wave, and not too much that Let Me can do. Does have that Transcendent Blades available if you want to, but it's going to be an outer turret trade here for both of these teams. You can see Corki well underneath that turret, able to take that one down. Does fall. Amazing J. Oh, the safeguard play was about to come through there from Huey, but realized that he couldn't quite make it.
Yeah, decided against it as we see the True Shot barrage come through, trying to stop the push. And this will give Ezreal a lot of attack speed if he so chooses to do it.
Oh, Xiaohu just gets exploded there by Kane. They are going to be able to take down the inner turret here, as well as Huey tanking up this one. Amazing J, he wants it. The kick out here as well. Actually lands the Q at the same time. Is the Sonic Wave going to come through? Does get the transformation. And that is going to be no Resonating Strike this time.
So they nearly trade 1-for-1, but in the end they will trade turrets. So once again, the fast push came through from both sides. They're able to pick up a turret each in response. Give that one over to Energy Pacemaker, because bottom side of the map is so much harder to defend as the game goes on.
Yeah,
as opposed to the top, where it's just so close to Baron. If you win a team fight, it's just easy to shove that wave out. So Energy Pacemaker really performing well in this mid-game. The kill onto Xiaohu was key. All of a sudden, Xiaohu, who did have an advantage in lane, is behind in CS, and 0-2 after a very greedy back. Saw him die the first time round, and that's a quick silver second item Corki coming through.
My goodness. We've seen interesting second item buys. You know, Last Whisper not making anyone all that happy as far as what Corki picks up at QSS. He's very much respecting all of the lockdown coming through from Gamtee.
Yeah, and Gamtee just feel that their base stats are better. So if they can Energy Pacemaker feel their base stats are better. So if they can get a fight where they don't get blown up within the CC, they feel that they can just withstand it and put out more consistent damage.
And is that actually the case here as well? Because, of course, Aurelia pretty good at consistent damage, as is Ezreal.
Yeah, but Aurelia is going to have to choose whether she goes onto the Corki or whether she goes onto the Ahri in these fights. And, of course, getting onto both with the ability to be able to relocate yourself multiple times will be a tough job. So Aurelia will be looking to dive onto the carries, but doesn't really have the tools to do so yet.
Yeah, Energy Pacemaker now with another beautiful roam around and utilizing Kayn fantastically. As soon as he picks up the Trinity Force, they move him around to pick up anything that they want. Gamtee now just waiting around maybe to do some funny business here, but Energy Pacemaker not buying it.
Yeah, don't want anything to do with it. When you see a whole side disappear off a map and you're sieging a turret as 3, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be somewhere near there. And Dragon, of course, spawning in 40 seconds. They've got complete control over the bottom side of the map, all the wards you could want. So why not just go back there, sweep it back out, set up a good team fight, try and use your Nav and combo to lock people down.
Yeah, and Gamtee now just with not very much vision here at all. We can see one of the only wards that they have here in a relevant position. And it is going to be Energy Pacemaker with a lot of control over this Dragon that's up in another 20 seconds. Now Gamtee try to come around, try to get this vision back so they can battle their way through. But Energy Pacemaker, they're already in position. They might be able to get a pick here.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're trying to poke and catch someone out, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Good leading wards coming through from both Sight Zone users, and now Sync Dream might even want to get something started. No, he actually doesn't pull the trigger, which is a very tame
strange.
Sync Dream.
Yeah, is it even Sync Dream, ladies and gentlemen? He's not playing Sonar, and he doesn't have a Sheen.
As we see the Dragon now started up, looks like they will fight.
Yeah, the True Shot Barrage comes through, but Phosphorus Bomb's down. That is going to be the lockdown here for Energy Pacemaker. Valkyrie over the wall as Gamtee try and start this one up. Look at all of the lockdown coming through as Shoots is going to get just destroyed. Amazing J was there for a moment. Now he's dead as Let Me just flashes over the wall. He's going to be safe. Energy Pacemaker able to disengage after losing 3 members.
Yeah, 3 for nothing. They grab a Dragon off it, but they're going to lose out on this mid turret. And even Ahri needs to be careful she doesn't get caught out in the roam around. Sync Dream, very good positioning.
Yeah, he is going to get the Shield of Daybreak there as well. Oh, Charm misses, and Raphael, you are so dead.
So that's the Sync Dream we're used to seeing. Very good pathing around the map, set up good vision control. They knew exactly where Ahri was and used that to their advantage. Got to catch afterwards, so they got another kill, secure the objective in the mid lane, now up in gold, and they've got arguably the stronger power spike.
And that was just after that Rabbidan's Death Cap was completed here as well. Double Trinity Force, Rabbidan's Annie. That was exactly the time that they wanted to fight, and they picked the exact fight that they wanted.
Yeah, certainly, and they fought in a very good manner. They had trapped people in the Dragon Pit.
Yeah.
There was a threat on either side, so it wasn't like the 2 damage threats could even team up and burst someone down. Didn't have the consistent damage to get it done, and in the end, they're able to pull away a very good win. They lost the Dragon, but they were able to, I guess, secure the teamfight victory.
Yeah, and Tail did lose his red buff there as well. Tried to get it with that True Shot Barrage. Unable to quite get there. Does have a level 2 True Shot, but didn't quite do enough.
We see he's continuing to farm up in this mid-game. The Blade of the Ruined King actually coming out of... Ooh.
Oh, Amazing J. We'll see who's going to be stronger here as well. Transcendent Blades are coming through, but Let Me just decides, I just want to farm.
Yeah, so gets a lot of good harass down, forces Amazing J off the wave, and I guess gives up on it after that when he realized he wasn't going to get the kill. Now Baron control over to Gamtee. They're securing the Scuttle Crab and all vision, trying to stop the split push that was coming through from the Ahri in the bottom lane, and they'll just recall, but that's now on Energy Pacemaker's mind that Gamtee are looking towards that objective.
Yeah, it was a nice trade, though, when Energy Pacemaker came back from the Death Chamber after that Dragon fight that they lost. They picked up the Dragon, but then moved around and got some deep vision here as well, so they know that Gamtee's around that top side. They still have knowledge of what's going on, and their warding this game has been really good.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is if you continue to get deep vision, at a certain point, if Gamtee keep moving the way they're moving around the map, they just walk over their wards, and you're like, fantastic, we know they're around Baron. We just don't know what part of Baron they're around. We don't have any vision in our jungle because we warded deep. So we actually have to go face check our jungle. So yes, we have good vision in their jungle, but they're playing in our jungle now, and that's exactly the point of the game they're at. They need to take their ward line a little bit more conservatively, because they can't even see this area currently that Gamtee are trying to get vision of.
It's a very good point. Of course, they only know where they're not, and that's not necessarily going to help when you don't have 100% vision, but oh, there's the flag and drag into the Cataclysm. Xiao just gets eliminated immediately. Raphael gets stunned. Tail looking to try and take him down. Hugh now right in the middle of this fight as Syncdream trying to tank up as best he can, but Energy Pacemaker, they are going to try and continue this engage, but it's a nice pick here already for EP.
Yeah, fantastic pick. The return of Teamfight Mini Nara as well. No evolve in that one. Just using the boomerang for all the damage was amazing, Jay, but Ari flew in there. A lot of upfront damage came through in 1, 3, and 3. Xiao, not having a fantastic game on Annie, was able to get his combo out, but there just wasn't enough follow-up damage. No persistent threat. You have to remember that Annie had a lot of her power shifted out to getting consistent Qs out in fights.
Yeah.
It's not that huge nuke anymore. It's on a very short cooldown and wasn't able to utilize that part of the kit.
Yeah, of course, did go from being, okay, as soon as I've done my buttons, I'm happy to die, but now probably wants to stay alive, have a Molten Shielded Bear running around the fight being a nuisance.
You really enjoyed that
I just
change.
love it. I think it's a really cool change, okay? I'm allowed to get excited here.
As we see Raphael dueling the Wolves.
He did win in the end as well. Xiao does make his way back here as well. Doesn't want to hang around too much. He's getting some horrible feelings about what happened in that last fight. Amazing J and Let Me still battling it out. But you can see Let Me now with a CS advantage has that Giant's Belt as well after his Trinity Force. He's well and truly on his way to this late game Aurelia stage, and sort of the early game that was a horror is now just a memory.
Yeah, it certainly is. Is transitioning into a second item at around the 26-minute mark. We'd like to have that one finished up relatively soon. Does only have 600 gold, but not too far. Actually, 500 gold ahead of Amazing J, who is pretty tanky, but has gone for a very mid-game focus build with that Sunfire cape, and will start to fall off for the fact that he didn't pick up something like the Randuin's Omen and like the Warmogs.
Yeah, and Huey now, he has that Locket of the Iron Solari here as well. Really wants to try and boost his effectiveness and his team's ability to win a team fight. And is that a big deal here, that item coming through?
Yeah, it's a very nice pickup coming through, because there is some a lot of AoE damage and incidental damage that he will be able to block out. I think it's more along the lines that he picked up 3 kills of his team 6, so felt like he needed to give something meaningful back to the team, so went a very team fight build.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he has had a fantastic game here already. Does have those Merc Treads available as well. Doesn't want to get charmed up for too long. Randuin's looks like the option here for Let Me as that second item. I was actually a little bit surprised. Would have liked to see a Frozen Heart, but of course not too many attack speed users here, and not sort of... It's a Corki, so it's different.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think that the amount of mixed damage, the most optimal build would have been the Warmogs, but then he saw that the Blade of the Ruined King had come out. So Randuin's looking to slow down some of that attack speed. Once again, Energy Pacemaker have good vision control over this Dragon objective, but probably still don't want to fight. Raphael, extremely strong now that he's picked up that Void Star. Gamtee probably need to stall out until Xiao, who can do the same. He's about 50 gold away from that, but looks like Energy Pacemaker going to start it up. Yeah,
and Amazing J able to charge up his Rage Bar here as well. Potentially going to have that Mega Gnar available, but you can see Gamtee, they're not going to be pulling the trigger here at all. As Syncdream's coming around looking for something. Solar Flare comes through onto Drizzle. He lands the Zenith Blade here as well, all the way through. The Amazing J just gets destroyed, but Xiao as well. Nothing he could do there. Let Me being a complete nuisance in that backline, but Ezreal going to trade himself for that Gnar, and that's a 2-for-1. Dragon wasn't even touched, and Let Me has to go back.
Yeah, Dragon was stopped there, but the important thing is that's the 2 damage threats down for the tank in Amazing J. So this allows them the luxury of being able to push up into the, this mid lane. QE didn't even use his kick there. He's looking for a flank now. Teleport coming through on the backside.
Yeah, Let Me looking to get something happening here as he's going to home guard through, but it is just going to be to save that inner turret. And 2 members still dead here for Gamtee, but Amazing J, he's got his teleport in 1 second. He can come straight back to this fight.
Yeah, they should not fight this at all. If they go in at all, it is going to be a 5v3. They give it up. Good control out of Energy Pacemaker after a 1-team fight.
Yep, only 1,000 gold is the lead here for Energy Pacemaker. That's the second Dragon to come through for those guys, but Nothing's over yet.
I think it's actually the third dragon coming through for Energy Pacemaker. So they're on track for maybe a 40-ish minute 5-dragon fight. But straight away, the rotation comes through onto Baron. Seeing the Ahri in the bottom lane, everyone else had recalled. They're going to be able to pick this up.
Yeah, half health already here and no one with any vision. Gamtee make the fluke call and it pays off.
Oh, it was very informed. They knew that Ahri was still in the bottom lane, and after the team fight, they can calculate how long it would have taken them to do the dragon from the positioning. Everyone would logically have recalled because of how much gold they picked up off those couple of kills, and really just smart playing. We already spoke about the fact that Gamtee was the team with the control over the Baron side of the map. They were the one that set up the wards, and Energy Pacemaker hadn't gone back there. So they knew that it was a completely unwarded area.
Beautiful play coming through from Gamtee. I wouldn't have thought that far through it, but I'm glad that you did. Most definitely. That is going to even out the gold here as well, as Gamtee now able to push out these waves. They do have even turrets here, but wanting to probably try and utilize this Baron. Tail's going to head back to base, and as far as a siege goes and a counter siege through for Energy Pacemaker, are they going to be okay? Because, of course, the rockets coming through and, of course, Ahri pretty good at wave clear.
Yeah, they have fantastic wave clear. It's really that cannon minion that they need to be careful of. Not fantastic siege coming out from an Aurelia, from the likes of Lee Sin, Leona. They all are melee, can't really hit the turrets. It's up to whether Ezreal can get some Sheen procs onto that turret, chunk it out early on, or if they can get a fight that isn't under the turret but use this pressure in to create a fight. They need to send someone top and bottom, unfortunately. Bottom lane is slowly pushing. They would probably want to rapidly accelerate that, but in the top lane, that's going to crash against the turret soon if they don't send someone up there, and they end up abandoning the mid lane push and sending up Xiaohu to sort that wave out.
Yeah, minion wave going to get destroyed here from Energy Pacemaker in the mid lane as well, and they're holding off this Baron buff push very, very well. Xiaohu easily able to clear out these minions here with that Incinerate. But Gamtee, do they have to make use of this Baron here as well, or is it just fine as a stalling tool?
Yeah, it's definitely fine as a stalling tool. They wouldn't be disappointed if this game went super late. Of course, then it allows you to use the pick combo of Leona and Annie to really get one kill and try and shove through an advantage there. As we see Ezreal continuing trying to siege it, but I think the same thing can be said for Energy Pacemaker's team. Energy Pacemaker, they have the Thresh, they have the Ahri. We already saw the engage that can come through from Jalvin, lock someone up so Raphael can deal with them.
Yep.
They're in the exact same situation, so it is very risky for either team to not have an advantage at this stage of the game.
And we'll see who just gets the engage that they want. As we have Energy Pacemaker moving towards the bottom side here as well, just trying to avoid the movements of Gamtee and able to clear out these waves whenever they need to. But it seems like a bit of an out-rotation from Gamtee that might be able to get to this inner turret before Energy Pacemaker come back, but Creep Wave just not quite there in time. Yeah,
Creep Wave wasn't there. They couldn't take it up at all. So once again, top and bottom waves completely neutral, not really pushing in either team's favor. And that means that this Baron buff will just be ineffective if it was used as a farming tool.
Yep, Baron buff about to wear off here as well. Just dies, and you can see no more super purple creeps to be heading through that lane. And you see Gamtee did manage to get a bit of gold off that one. I guess they managed to farm out some waves, cause Energy Pacemaker to group up in order to clear this one out. But now everything back to normal.
Yeah, it's like the game just started. Everyone's on equal footing. But as I said, I think neither team would be happy that this is an equal game at 32 minutes. Energy Pacemaker were looking to use their superior team fight to get through it. Gamtee were looking to use the Aurelia versus Gnar matchup and create a legitimate split-pushing threat, and neither team has really achieved their objectives yet.
No, and you've got Aurelia, I mean, does have that Randuin's completed now, does have a kill up here on Amazing J, but Amazing J more than happy just to farm out this wave, which is now just collecting here at that inner turret. Well, what used to be an inner turret. And he's able to easily get some more farm here onto this Gnar.
Yeah, exactly right. Gnar, of course, going to continue to scale. We've seen Gnars get extremely tanky and then go that Trinity Force as the last item and become a team fight threat in themselves.
Yeah.
So Amazing J definitely will be relevant later game. It's not like Aurelia exponentially outscales a Gnar. A Gnar in an AoE situation is arguably more valuable.
Yeah, Tail now does have that Trinity Force and the Mirror Mana Transform plus his Last Whisper, so he's hit a nice spike. Does have a Vampiric Scepter and that Spectre's Cowl here as well, and looks like he really wants to get that Banshee's Veil in order to stop some of the first burst to come through. Of course, that is probably going to be Jarvan or Raphael if a pick situation comes through, and I guess that's intelligent.
Yeah, just doesn't want to get hit by one of those stray charms that Raphael's throwing over the walls. That will change the game. They need level 16 into Xiaohu. That's the next step in the game that they're hoping to achieve relatively soon. If you can get that Tibbers to level 16, that level 3 ultimate does a lot more damage, and we see they're still looking for a pick, but just haven't been able to find anything.
Yeah, Syncdream hanging around there. Amazing J just going to continue clearing out some wards, and Gamtee again grouping towards this mid lane. There is an inner turret in that bottom side, but you can see Raphael has pushed that one through, and Gamtee again stymied.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're using the Ahri to match the split push of Aurelia, and Aurelia really not being able to get any turret pressure down, at least. And Dragon up in 3 seconds, and they're looking to see whether Energy Pacemaker will show to continue the push in Aurelia, or whether they can get a TP in here and maybe a one-team fight.
Yeah, Amazing J looking to start something up. Does have a lot of rage here as well. In the prime position to start a team fight is Gamtee continuing to auto-attack this Dragon. Drizzle just going to pick it up now. It is going to attempt to reset, but Energy Pacemaker, they might be able to pick up their 4th here potentially.
Yeah, Dragon number 4 is picked up, but all in the meanwhile, Let Me trying to get the bottom turret.
Yeah, teleport to come through from Amazing J here as well. He takes a lot of damage from that one. Nard into the wall straight away, and there is so much CC available from this. Nard does get into mini Nard form, and you cannot escape this little devil. Nice use of the ultimate from Let Me, but you have to think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and I don't know why Let Me didn't flash the first boomerang. Would have been able to get out of there if he ulted a little bit earlier and flashed the boomerang. But 40 seconds now is the death timer, and that's the exact same timer as Baron. Full control over that objective.
Yeah, although as soon as it spawns, Let Me is going to be able to teleport in. Didn't use that one, so that is definitely something that Gamtee do have in their back pocket. But you're exactly right. Energy Pacemaker now with so much control over this map. True Shot Barrage not going to be able to clear out the creeps. And the inner turret that Gamtee were trying to get on the other side of the map, easily taken now for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, certainly is. The only thing for Gamtee is they got pretty much all of the bottom health of that turret. So if they win a successful fight, they can maybe even just accelerate, face tank it, and finish it off. So mission was accomplished by Let Me. Would have loved to have kept that one around for longer. Wasn't able to stop the teleport that came through. And now, Energy Pacemaker recall. And once again, the battle is about who can get vision over this Baron area.
Yep, Huey is going to be able to get some in that pit there as well. But you can see multiple pink wards here for Energy Pacemaker, still holding control over that vision. Drizzle just going to clear out the ward that is in the pit, but doesn't have all of his health, and Baron hits pretty hard at this stage.
And we see a very big standoff coming through. Syncdream missed the memo.
Yeah, trying to come through with something. Doesn't quite land the Solar Flare he's looking for. Syncdream getting blown up here as well. Lots of shields to come down. There's a beautiful Nard to come through. Kane's going to take out Xiaohu here as well as Energy Pacemaker try and continue the assault. Huey, you're in so much trouble. Nice safeguard in order to get out, but Orbit Deception and Amazing J's Boulder going to find it. And Tail running away with his tail between his legs. Huey and Xiaohu are dead.
Yeah, and Xiaohu didn't even get to ult in that fight. No Tibbers was dropped down. That is so much of the team comp. And
oh,
wow.
Look at the double bounces to come through. Tail takes a little while to die, but he is finally taken down. Energy Pacemaker with a beautiful play.
Yeah, that was the play that might have just secured Energy Pacemaker the game. They're on Baron, so being able to take that one down, able to pick it up, and now the push in the mid lane. Whereas Gamtee struggled sieging, the same cannot be said about this Energy Pacemaker team. They've got a pure tank in the top lane. They're able to dive at will. They've got the Jarvan to be able to add all the follow-up CC, and Corki will shred through turrets.
Yeah, well, it's exactly right, and they're able to buy him time here as well. I mean, and Shu, he can hang around, threaten with that death sentence, and they can start another one of these fights. And this Thresh has been very strong this game.
Yeah, he certainly has. Bottom lane in particular for Energy Pacemaker has looked on point, both involved in 9 kills. Only 2 deaths between them, both sitting on the support, and pretty impressive play coming through. The Corki pickup was very important.
Yeah, we were talking about this before, the fact that getting that Corki is something that both of these teams are really going to prioritize. And we mentioned, I mean, Gamtee had an opportunity to pick that one up early on and prioritize the Annie over it.
Yeah, certainly did, and the Annie hasn't worked out so far. 1, 5, and 4, 50 CS down. Xiaohu just hasn't been able to get it rolling. It looked like it was working in the laning phase, but ever since the team started grouping, just been getting picked out consistently, and no health only just picking up Azonia's Hourglass. A very greedy build, and it didn't pay off.
No, still has that Fiendish Codex from a long time ago. But now has the Zhonya. So, I mean, it is greedy, but at least now he can potentially go into stasis and at least make sure he can mash his buttons and get a Tibbers down before he dies.
Yeah, and we see the Siege now in the top side of the map. They're going to be able to take this turret. Absolutely. Wow.
There's the Solar Flare to come through. Amazing J gets stunned up, but not for long here as well. Has those Mercury Threads, and he's so incredibly tanky. Sync Dream gets caught. There's the Zenith Blade onto Amazing J. Tries to make something happen, but Kane picks him up. And Huey now forced to run. That is another Death Sense to come through from Huey, and another kill for Kane. They are running over this fight. Raphael does die, and at least Xiaohu managed to survive for a little bit longer, but Energy Pacemaker ripping through this team.
And it's like Sync Dream doesn't understand that his team is 10,000 gold behind and facing a Baroned up unit of Siege minions. Completely whiffs the ultimate that came through, and that has led to the first inhibitor going down. There's 30 seconds left on the death timers. They might even just win the game.
Yeah, they have 2 Siege minions here as well. So much extra damage on these Nexus turrets. You can see they're getting torn apart. The Trinity Force coming through from Kane doing so much work. Just going to Valkyrie over the top. Doesn't even want to bother taking down the rest of that Nexus turret as the Nexus falls, and Energy Pacemaker with some beautiful late game plays.
Yeah, late game shot calling definitely was an issue there for Gamtee, and Energy Pacemaker capitalized, able to go in. We mentioned the turret dive. I feel that that was the biggest threat, having the Gnar there for all the CC and being able to take it up. Aurelia couldn't do that single-handedly. Amazing J just showed that he couldn't. The flanks that came through from Raphael really were on point, and he outclassed Xiaohu in that game.
Yeah, he did.
The difference between the Annie and the Ahri pickup was huge, and it really translated across the rest of the map.
Yeah, and it was all about what happened after the laning phase as well. Raphael just survived. He built a Negatron cloak first and just made sure that he could clear out the waves and put as much damage on the turret that he could and not die. And that's exactly what he did, and then was actually useful when Annie just exploded.
Yeah, every single time the Cataclysm would come through, just get blown up, and meant a win for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, win for Energy Pacemaker, but it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. They still have to face off one more time, and we'll see whether Gamtee can answer back.